Hi there, it's Sarah from Inspire Tarot. Welcome to the channel. I hope you're having a good day. So this is a newish deck. It's the Oracle of the Seven Energies by Colette Baron Reid, which I liked. I've got, a few of those now. So Oracle cards are a bit different to tarot cards. Oracle cards can be on anything and everything. But obviously they're mainly focused on spiritual principles and growth, usually, I find, which is nice. And there's different cards and different things that match us all at our different level of consciousness. That's one of the things I like about tarot. Some of the readings you listen to, people are very much in the ego, and other people are channeling spirit more. But one of the things I like about it is that there's something there for everybody. We all fall back into our ego. Sometimes the ego, pain from the ego is what pushes us forward. So, and in the very early stages of our journey, we kind of believe in an external power. So, yeah, it's all good. I feel as though the spirit reminds us that the darkness serves the light, and everything can be used for healing. So I don't think any of these cards are going to jump out, so I might just have to pull some. Let's go. Get them straight. Whoop. Great and full. Tender embrace. Walking the lion. Probably only going to fit 3 on here. The power of purpose. Need to push them up. Great big love. Healing the heart. Right, let's get these a bit straight. Okay. Right, so I need to look these up because I don't know what they mean. And I'm kind of keen to learn. So number 4 is great and full. Key concepts: the mindful practice of gratitude, knowing that you are enough, committing to your intentions, a sense of sufficiency, letting go of attachment to form. Yeah, I think this is lovely. You can see in here, in this card, that there's a full cup that's overflowing. And that's the way we need to see everything in life. We need to see that our cup is overflowing, because our cup is full. Our cup is always full, really. It's just sometimes we seem to not be aware of it, but our cup is always full. And I like that this is like a very fancy looking gold goblet with diamonds on. And I know that the material is not important, but it kind of gives you an impression that the cup is quite regal and almost even holy. And also the little, I think it's a lotus flower in the bottom, is a symbol of growth and healing. Could also symbolize the wine that Jesus turned water into wine, which is something else that ties in with gratitude, because everything is given to us when we're just thankful. Everything comes through the mind. Everything is like harvested by the mind. So whatever we think will come from the mind. So yeah, being in gratitude just gets the energy flowing in the right direction. It gets us in a state of receiving. It gets us in a state of knowing where our abundance comes from, that everything comes from God. Nothing comes from the material. It may manifest materially, but it comes from God. So yeah, being grateful puts us in a very powerful position. I personally like that feeling of gratitude, because it takes you out of the lack state where you feel as if you don't have any power, and it puts you back on, you're focused on the solution rather than the problem. You focus on all the wonderful things in your life, and when you focus on all the wonderful things in your life, then you start to feel better because you don't feel empty and lacking. And we have so many things to be grateful for. Without a doubt, the fact that we're divine, and our mind is the only thing that we need to create everything that we could ever possibly need, and that we have the Holy Spirit to guide us. You know, the Holy Spirit knows what we need and want more than we know what we need and want, because we see life from our very limited perspective. And if we can give ourselves over to the Spirit, then we can be guided completely, which is phenomenal, really. You know, to think that we think that we're mere mortals in this world, but really we're not. We're divine, and everybody has the power to be like Jesus. You know, Jesus wasn't special. Jesus woke up first, and yeah, he came back to show us the way, to save the lost. So we can be grateful for, even though when we sometimes feel as though we're stuck in this human world, that it's never true, and that there is a way out, and there is a joy available to us that's kind of beyond our comprehension. Even though I do believe that we all have a memory of heaven, there's something in us that always is striving for more, because we know deep down that there's something more, something that keeps us moving forwards. So yeah, that's a beautiful card. Right, let's look up the next one, which is 22, Tender Embrace. Key concepts are compassion, warm-hearted care for self and others, sensitivity and empathy, benevolence, my cats are talking to each other, and kindness. It says, put your hand on your heart and breathe deeply. Inhale a sense of gratitude. So yeah, we've just been talking about gratitude, but this is sweet because it talks about compassion, and we can have compassion for ourselves and for others, and be warm-hearted and caring. This is one of the nice things about life, is that we get to care about anybody. We get to see the world exactly how we want to see it. We get taught this in the course, that the world is what you made it. So we have these assumptions before we wake up that, you know, the problems are in the external world. We don't realise that we're putting them there with our mind, and we have the chance to completely change it, and to have compassion for everybody, and just think in a very benevolent way, to think as God thinks. And giving and receiving are one, so whatever we give to another, we also give to ourselves, which is beautiful. And we give out a miracle, we experience it too. Whatever we give, we experience back, and we create miracles in different dimensions of time and with people that we don't even know, which is so sweet. And the same will happen in reverse with other people that come to us. You know, we have sweet things that happen to us all the time. So the question here is, where do I need to be kinder and gentler? How can I serve, and in what capacity can I be in alignment with the solution to the suffering of the world? So yeah, there's two ways to look at this. One is that we may feel called in form to do something in a specific way, you know, to get involved in saving cats, or helping people with drug addictions, or various things. Or it might just be that we want to be a living demonstration of forgiveness and kindness and non-judgment generally with whoever we're with, you know, just with our next door neighbour or with someone in a shop. It doesn't need to be anything big and fancy. You know, we can just embrace everybody with this love and make sure that we include ourselves in that as well, because we have a tendency to think people outside of us are more important. We're kind of programmed to think that people outside of us are more important, but of course that's not true. We're all completely equal. Right, Waking the Lion, a 19. Key concepts are boldness, the courage to move forward even without knowing the way, facing that which is difficult or painful, and the audacity to step into the unknown. Wow, so this covers quite a few things. Start with the first one. The courage to move forward even without knowing the way. So we just need to trust in the Spirit. The Spirit knows the way. And if we follow our bliss, then I find that the universe will help us. If we follow our bliss, then we get into that state of flow. And the more we stay in gratitude and flow, the more good things come to us. The people that we need to work with, they will come to us. The resources and everything that we need, it all just comes when we get in our flow state. But we have to trust and be in gratitude and ask for help. Facing what's painful and difficult. Yeah, I think if we have a fear of feeling our feelings, then we're screwed. I did for many years. I was so afraid of my painful feelings, but now I find, as I've mentioned over and over, I can't say it enough, that when we just allow our feelings to come up, we may even need to cry. We need to maybe just need to express to a friend, just to get it off our chest the way we feel without being judged or analysed or corrected or helped, given advice. Yeah, and if painful feelings come up and we just see it as them purging out, and that it's a helpful part of the process, and that we don't resist it when it comes up or judge them as bad or as if we're doing something wrong, because that's not true. The ego always wants us to think as if we're doing something wrong. And I know it says in the course that we can't judge our advances from our retreats, and I found this to be profoundly true. When we're still aligned very much with the ego, and the ego is being undone and it feels humiliated and devastated, then usually that's a good thing, but it certainly won't feel that way if we're aligned with ego thinking, because the spirit's plan is antithetical to the ego's plan. The ego is going to go through the process of annihilation and undoing, and it's really not going to like it, but it's all good. It's all good. Yeah. Okay, so the next one is the power of purpose. Individuation sees your unique place in the world, a clear sense of authentic purpose, healthy self-esteem, letting go of conditioning, celebrating your uniqueness. So individuation seems like a bit of a strange term in unity, but it's really, I would see it as the term as separating our thoughts and feelings from those of others. So it's becoming very internally validating, very internally focused by listening to our feelings and following our desires about what we want, what we believe, because we know internally what our path is. We don't really need anybody else to tell us, we just instinctively know. One of the things that I've enjoyed doing over time has been property developing and photography, and I had a natural skill for both of those, and I didn't have any training whatsoever. It was just an innate thing that I could do, and I think I kind of knew that it was my purpose, very much so, to follow my bliss and get these beautiful ideas that were in my head out into the world so that other people could see them. And I would get so much feedback from other people that my ideas were ridiculous, or it would cost too much money, or I don't think that's practical or wise. And I'm sure that I did dither about for a while, but eventually I just thought, you know what, these ideas in my mind are so beautiful that I just want to bring them out into the world. And then as soon as I'd done it, everyone was like, I'm so glad that you didn't listen to me. I'm so glad that you just went ahead and did it, because it's phenomenal. And what was funny was, once I'd created it, so before I'd created it, they couldn't envisage what I had in my mind. And after I'd created it, they couldn't envisage it how it was before. Which I found really funny. But everybody has these ideas and things inside of them, and these drives that we should be following, because they are our divine. We just should follow our drives, because the spirit can work with anything that we like. The spirit can work with to heal us. So anything at all. It's very sweet. What else was under this one? Seeing your unique place in the world. Yeah, so we're all equal. We all have the right to be seen, to focus on what we want to do and share that with others. When we see other people doing things they want to do and sharing and opening up, then it kind of sets the example that we too can do the same. It's really important that we express ourselves authentically and be who we're meant to be, because we won't be happy if we're not, and we have no idea who we reach. I was talking to someone the other day, and they were talking about that they didn't feel comfortable sharing things with religious symbolism, because it might upset people, or people might not be able to relate. And I said, but look at it the other way too, in that there are people who kind of want to believe in God but don't, that need that little nudge or need to see God differently. So we never really know who's listening. We really do have to just put ourselves out there, because each person is perfect for somebody to hear their message, and to share their love and their light, and everything just weaves together perfectly. And the information that we put out will be found by the people who need to hear it, because that's the way the universe works. So yeah, that's good. Right, 26. What is that one? Great big love. Love without conditions, romantic love and how that experience changes you, deep and profound harmonious connections, and soulmates. So love heals all wounds. Yeah, I mean, my idea of what love was is always changing over time and being refined and purified. When I was younger, I had no idea. Like most people, we grew up in a family that was very conditionally loving. And because I was a bit rebellious, I found it quite challenging, because I would challenge everything as I went. That didn't go down so well. But yeah, I guess over time we often learn to people please or avoid or just shut ourselves down completely. But the more we go against or away from love, the worse we feel. So we always have to go back towards love in order to feel good. But we do have a fear of love. We have this huge fear of redemption, which sounds crazy, but is completely true. So yeah, as we love people and things, we're always learning. We learn by our mistakes. We learn by the contrast. We learn how, when we interpret people outside of us as hurting us, that we feel disempowered. And then eventually we get to a stage where we want to take our power back, and forgive and not feel bad about people. So we need to understand that this world is really just a dream, and we get to make it whatever we want to make it. And loving without conditions is so different, but from my experience, it's so easy to love without conditions in many ways, because you really don't have to do anything other than what's guided and be kind and compassionate. So actually, to love someone unconditionally is the most simple thing in the world. But when we have insecurities and we feel like we need to control or have our expectations met, then that's it's the conditions that make love complicated. But yeah, we're always learning as we go. And yeah, love is a beautiful thing. Love is the highest form of intelligence, and it does feel good to go towards love. It can feel painful to go towards love when we feel unworthy, but you know, the spirit is always working through in our minds, in a way that's quite miraculous and mysterious, and I don't really understand it, but I know it's great and I love it. Okay, the final card is Healing the Heart. Key concepts are healing, making amends, the willingness to release past pain, being responsible and accountable, taking time to get healthy, renewal and rebirth after suffering. So yeah, I think I've talked about quite a few of these things in the other cards. But yeah, it is something that we need to do. We need to make our healing a priority and not feel ashamed about that. And find other people of a like mind who are on the same path, who won't judge, who will listen to, you know, our issues, our stories, the things that bother us in life without taking them seriously, who will hold us in the light, and not see us in our weakness. And forgiving everybody. When I leave this planet, I don't want to have a single person that I hold a grudge against. And I think I'm doing reasonably well. I think the only person so far that I seem to hold a grudge against is myself. And I think many of us find that true, you know, that it seems to be harder to forgive ourselves. We seem to have more blind spots with ourselves than anyone or anything. But we just have to keep going, and keep doing the research and keep just forgiving ourselves and being very gentle. This is one of the things that I have found the most important on the spiritual journey, is to trust the process even when we don't trust the process, to try and surrender as much as possible, to be extremely gentle with ourselves, and to feel our feelings and not shame ourselves for having painful feelings. Having painful feelings coming up often is a strong sign that we're healing and that we're doing the inner work and we're facing the ego. yeah, and it can seem like with the ego's interpretation on it that we're doing something wrong, or we're bad, or we're going in the wrong direction, but it's simply not true. Consciousness never goes backwards. Right, so this is a sweet reading for today. I really enjoyed doing it. I enjoy these oracle cards and the beautiful pictures, and the little book that guides. I'm enjoying using my intuition more and more, and sharing what's in my heart with you all. Okay, right, I love you all. I'll see you again. Bye.